Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cracking the Existence Codes. My name is Georgia Jean. This is a Circle Evolution Live, and I have something really amazing and awesome to share with you today. I have a special guest, Ester Ciurana. Tell me if I'm saying your name. I always get nervous when I say your name. I'm going to get it wrong. Who is a fabulous astrologer from awakeningwiththestars.com, correct? And
Yes.
today we're going to, you want to say hi, Esther, and
Hello,
give
good
everyone
morning.
a shout out there.
Yes,
Yes. Esther's in Spain. Where are you in Spain?
in Catalonia, in the south of Catalonia.
Catalonia. Wonderful. I'm in Perth, Australia, and we have guests from all around the world joining us. So today we're going to be talking about a really, really, really potent, powerful clearing that became available to me, or to the work that I do with the Circle of Light. The Circle of Light are my non-physical partners in the organism that is Circle Evolution. I've been channeling them since about 2004, and through like thousands and thousands of hours and hours and hours of channeling and one-on-one sessions and group sessions, we have come up with a set of tools that really facilitate people on the awakening pathway, spiritual evolution, breaking down the little me ego self to allow the consciousness to come on in and work through us, and supporting the evolutionary shift in the planet, as well as the personal goals, dreams, hopes, and desires of all those that come to work with us. Everything from clearing chronic physical conditions to working with breakthroughs in their career, to reaching more people through whatever creative avenue they're going through, all kinds of stuff, lots of different walkways and pathways, but very often a high degree of challenge or difficulty, or a need to break through big limitations that create a very contracted and resistant state. So whether you're trying to work through something that's really challenging or chronic personally, or you're trying to reach a lot of people with something you're trying to bring into the world, very often there is a high degree of resistance to your consciousness really expressing forward in this way. And because this has been our specialty for nearly 20 years, we have been working to find those tools that really break down and dissolve the deepest levels of resistance to our true creative expression coming through and doing the life-changing work that we're all really here to do on the planet, not just for our lives, but for the future lives of humanity. So enter the existence templates. Now, these templates were revealed to me after a lot of my own personal development work, my own consciousness being cracked over and over and over in order to bring through the higher frequencies of the Circle of Light. And just when you thought you had done all the work you need to do, in comes another really big, heavy template to be dissolved, basically, in order to reach that next level of consciousness. So about I think it was about 3 years ago, I think it was early 2000, around 2020, I became aware of these existence templates to the degree that we have been working with them. And since we have been working with the existence templates, they really do provide super profound shifts for those who are ready to actually dissolve this level of resistance. Because when we're talking about an existence, we're talking about the total definition of not only you as a human being, but everything you experience in your existence. And when you're working at a high level of what we call like mastery level, and it requires that even though there's, all this stuff outside of ourselves that we don't like, that looks quote unquote bad, that is annoying, that's terrible, from a broader perspective, when we acknowledge that we are connected to the all consciousness, and when we want to access that power in order to bring change, to bring breakthroughs, to help with the evolutionary shift of the planet, etc., we also have to take total responsibility that on some level, everything in my existence is my creation. And it is shaped by the egoic framework that I am projecting out into, that projects out into my external reality, and also my sense of self, my sense of my inner life, and my inner world, and my relationship to my body, my entire existence. So when we're talking about the existence, we are including the sense of the connection to the physical body, the internal life, meaning our internalized belief, thought structures, feelings, emotions, projections, our direct quantum reality, which is the quantum reality that we interact with directly, which would be things like relationships, friends, partners, going to work, the supermarket, your neighborhood. The indirect quantum reality, which is that projection that we of our broader reality that we see through things like television, social media. Even if you're watching this at a later date, you could say that this video is part of your indirect quantum reality. And then going out also into the multidimensional metaphysical projection as well, which includes our sense of spirit guides, cosmic consciousness, extra dimensionals, angels, gods, demons, all of these things that live outside of the generally agreed upon physical realm. So when we're talking about existence, the existence templates, we're talking about imprints that actually shape everything within that existence, including our sense of God, because your sense of God or source or all that is, or that which provides you life force and creative energy, is also a part of your existence. So it's a very, very powerful, permeating group of templates that, if they are distorted by wounds in the ego, in the mind, in the sense of self, will permeate this distortion throughout your quantum reality. So this is why working with the existence templates, when you purify an existence template, what it does is it creates such a profound release throughout the entire realm of your existence that, I mean, it really is a life-changing shift to be able to purify an existence template on this level. And I kind of went into a bit of a rave about it right there. But if anyone has any questions about this as I'm explaining this, and just kind of opening up with this, feel free to pop it in the chat so I can see it and address your questions, because we do want to help everybody to understand these concepts, as well as to receive the clearing that we're going to be doing towards the end of this gathering today. But it's very powerful, and so I've been really excited to get this concept across to more people, and to get these tools that actually help to purify the existence template into the hands of more people. Because when we're talking about a dense, heavy template that is distorting our perception of not only our own life, but of reality itself, including the rest of the people on the planet, when we can lift these templates out of our existence, we really are elevating the collective experience of reality, the whole of the human collective, the whole of life here on Earth, essentially. So that's sort of the beauty and the power of it. And I just want to give you this simple metaphor so you can understand the existence templates. Some of you may have seen this when we did the introduction video to this, but what I want you to think about, when you incarnate, it's like a balloon is blown up inside of consciousness. So there's all of consciousness, and then your consciousness says, hey, I'm going to create an identity, what we call a little me, a singular egoic identity. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to block out all of consciousness. And that inception of that birth is like that balloon gets blown up, and the skin of that balloon is blocking out all of consciousness that doesn't fit into this current identity. But inside the balloon is the whole experience, existence that you have, including, as we said, your sense of your body, your inner life, your direct quantum reality, and that broader projective, including the sense of the multidimensional God, spirituality, and all that stuff. But when we come into incarnation, it is such a shock to our free-flowing consciousness to hit the density of now being in a body, being limited, that it creates this kind of concept, this wound of birth. And that is almost like the skin of the balloon and the color of the skin of the balloon. So if you come into incarnation and you feel that shock of incarnation, and it feels, for example, super oppressive or dense or painful compared to where you are, that color, that flavor comes into the skin of the balloon. And then everything inside of the balloon that is your existence now in some way is tinged with that color, tinged with that pain, tinged with that oppression, tinged with that suffering, whatever it is. And no matter how much healing you do, you're always still going to kind of return to that because it's part of the existence. It's part of even your healing, your healed existence. It's just still part of your existence. So when we're able to actually dissolve the existence template itself, the skin of the balloon, when we're able to thin the skin of the balloon, when we're able to take the color out of the skin of that balloon, two things happen. That tinge, conscious and unconscious, is removed from your existence. And it also thins the veil and allows more of that broader expanded consciousness that lies outside the sense of the personal identity to move in and to permeate inside of that balloon. And so this is where we're really talking about raising the vibration and allowing new consciousness in. It's through the skinning of that balloon, new intelligence can come inside and inform what is not only your life, but the life of the world that you experience as an existence. So that's the humdinger power of working with the existence templates, because it brings such a lightening of the entire experience and really a shift in the complete perception of your own reality. And I was super excited to find these because people started just having, again, such radical shifts, such exponentially evolving moments when we started to work with the existence templates. And it's usually something that I do one-on-one with people because it feels like it's a personal to their existence. But we have found different ways to help you identify your existence templates. And one of the exciting ways, one of the exciting ways that has come to my awareness to be able to help identify the existence templates is through a system of astrology my dear friend Esther came up with, that helps to, like, nails it on the head what somebody's existence templates are. And I can tell you why I know she nails it on the head is because I've been working with my existence templates for a couple of years, and she did my chart and nailed it on the head. The names, the themes that came up were already themes I was very familiar with as my existence templates. And that's why I knew there's really something to the system that Esther has brought forward. So I'd love to introduce Esther a little bit more now. And also, if you have any questions about what I've said, I just kind of like blurted all of that out. I wanted to give you guys the concepts, but mainly I want to keep things moving and get Esther on here to tell us about her work with the astrology and her breakthroughs with these existence templates.
Yes, so I think it would be fun to kind of illustrate that. But first, I'll tell a little bit like how I got into astrology and so on. So
yes, please.
Yeah, when I was 14, I found a book from my mother and in the house, and I started reading, and it helped me so much. And I felt like I have to explore this, and it's been like almost 20 years, and it's been like a lifelong passion. But then when I went to university, I had the spiritual awakening, and I started seeing auras and things like that, having psychic dreams. But I kind of ignored it, and then years went by, and then like in 2019, I had a really big spiritual awakening after coming back from Machu Picchu. Then it's when I came back to astrology for help.
Right.
because it's what it always has been giving me more answers. And short after that, I discovered astroanamnesis, which is this type of astrology that can read your unconscious memory. And I had a reading with this astrologer from Mallorca who created this method. And then I started studying with him and so on. And then I started putting together my own method because I was meditating every single day next to my charts. And so I was receiving information. And so I started getting the idea of putting the three charts together, like it was one inside the other. And so, and I also took this course of soul healing. And then I started working with these three dimensions, like the ego, the matrix, and the soul. And so when I saw your video, Georgia, of DeAnchoring, the DeAnchoring technique, it like all clicked together because you almost like, I think you were even using the same colors, and I could see how like these three charts that I could read, you could actually like use it to detect this, to diagnose these themes, and to de-anchor them, and then access more and more and more of your soul energy. And so this is like the direct access to your source code. It's like you said, when we incarnate, like we are all this free flowing consciousness, and then we create we create this balloon, and then this would be like our soul, and then our higher self, and then from there we create the matrix we live in, and then we choose a time and a place to be born, and that's what the character we end up playing. And
right. And astrology is kind of like the that entry point is like, okay, this time, this date, these are the perfect circumstances to set up this basically quantum playground of hell. No.
And then
whatever you're here to do for this lifetime.
And then it's like we have two options, because when we look at the sky, and this is also like the astrology I do, it's not like to blame the planets, like,
no.
Oh, I have this because of Saturn or whatever, but to actually look at the sky as a macrocosmos. And then you are
as a what was that? As a what cosmos?
Macrocosmos.
Mesocosmos. By the way, I also just want to throw this in again because a few more people have joined us. And I just want to remind you, if you have any questions that you want me to ask Esther, feel free to pop them in the chat so I can get clarity along the way. So you guys really have a good understanding of what these concepts are that she's bringing across here. So when we look at the sky, it's a macrocosmos.
Yes. It's like a macrocosmos, and we are a microcosmos.
Right.
And so it's like when we look at a lake and we see the sky reflected in it, it's the same thing. It's not that the sky is like has an invisible hand or something causing something to the lake, but through looking at the sky, we can see what's reflected in the lake.
Yes.
So in us, it's the same thing. So when we read the stars, we can actually read how these patterns that we go through work.
Yep.
So we live in the solar system, and the solar system has a star that is the sun that is in the center, and then the planets going around this star. And we also, the same way, have two options. We can either exist like planets orbiting around the star, the closest one we have, and then repeating over and over and over and over the same patterns, or we can realize, wake up, that we are a star, and that
Mhm.
everything that is around us, everything that we see in our reality, is actually our creation.
Yeah.
And then take back that light, reclaim that light,
Yes. I
and
love
own.
that. I just wanted to share quickly that I've actually channeled a few of these consciousnesses, astrological consciousnesses like Venus, like the sun, and we do have this and the Earth consciousness too. We do have this sense of separation from these energies, or that they're just like, oh, that's a concept, that's the sun and it burns, but I loved what you said about actually kind of sitting with the vibration of your chart, because it's the same with these planets. They are frequencies, they are consciousness that you can work to merge with to become more of what that is, if that makes sense.
Exactly, yes. And so I'm going to share just quickly this to illustrate it. Here are Louisa's charts, and this is the system I created. And so you can see like these three balloons, and this would
Mm.
be like the little me, the character that you play. This would be like the matrix that you are in, that has 95 to 99% of the energy, that often it's very difficult to access because we identify with this character and we believe, oh, we are just this body, but we are actually like the whole thing. And then through accessing this, that we are often like distracted because it's always like something external or someone else that it's kind of leaving this energy, we kind of project it outside, but it's actually our energy as well, so that can be
Yes.
reclaimed by us.
So when I was saying at the beginning, the levels of the existence, the first being the self, the inner world, and the body, that's almost like the inner circle. And then the next matrix is that quantum reality, the externalized quantum matrix, correct? That's how you would associate that?
Exactly, this would represent the matrix. And actually a trick to see a little bit what these themes could be for you, it's to look at your grandparents, because this is all
Oh,
also like the family inheritance. But we usually choose a family because it resonates with our kind of past baggage or past lives or how.
right. Yes. Yeah. Genetic, hereditary. And a lot
Yeah,
of that also in our work, we would call that the biological belief structures as well, because that genetic hereditary energy in our DNA creates a sense of biological ways of thinking and believing around life. For example, survival consciousness that we share as a human collective, but also individual programs that come down the family line. And that informs that a lot of the times, yes, then the externalized quantum reality, especially if we don't like it, if we're like, oh, I'm not a warmonger, but we have a history of warriors in our family, it will project out in the quantum reality like that.
and there's a ton of energy there, and it's actually our like energy that can be accessed with us from us when we don't judge it, right? And
Yes.
so through the DeAnchoring, the most amazing thing is that we are here in this moment in this planet because we are living this transition, and it's possible, which hasn't been before, to de-anchor these themes. Like
Yes.
because before you incarnated and you had a role and you played that role, okay?
Yes,
But
that's right.
now we are living in this transition moment where we are accessing all these tools,
Yeah.
where we can actually like de-anchor these themes and access our higher self and embody our higher self in this lifetime. This
Yes.
is exciting.
And just for people following along, the de-anchoring that Esther is referring to and the video that she saw, it's actually something that's in my Circle Evolution gift bag, because I wanted to break down how the process of de-anchoring, which is actually, it's again something that just actually came in this year that we're quote unquote allowed to do. Like, because these tools are so powerful, they come in stages of what we are ready as a collective to do. You can already see there's a lot of chaos in the planet as we are, you know, going through these evolutionary shifts, and it's sort of disrupting our matrix, disrupting that inner circle, disrupting the reality as we've perceived it. And we want it to, because we're here to change the collective reality, but the collective reality is also kind of going a bit bananas as well. So we get these tools coming through at different times where we're ready as a collective to do it. And the de-anchoring came in this year. And what that essentially is when you've done a lot of cleaning up of your own personal egoic stuff, you're actually, in a sense, all of our storylines and our consciousness here is energetically fed from a source. And we call that, in the old paradigm, it's the 3D grid framework. That's the power source that fuels the stories that project out as our 3D reality. And we're moving into a 5D grid framework. It's a different, it's a different frequency. And we're actually unplugging from the 3D mainframe, if you will. Now, we can't just unplug it all at once, because then the world would just be like even more bananas than it is now. Like, suddenly we're like, oh, I'm a unicorn, So we're going through this like progressively. But as we become aware of more resistances, now we're able to also de-anchor, unplug from that power source that was even feeding that story. So it's super, super powerful to be able to do that. But before you can do it, you also want to harvest the energy that was invested in the matrix that storyline was. Because when we put energy into a story, like we put in energy into every story that we have, whether we like it or not, it's full of energy. If you just kind of cut off the energy supply, you have nothing to create the new reality with, in a sense. So we're going through a process of harvesting energy from the old matrix, like the stuff, in that, that genetic, that hereditary, all those things that Esther is talking about, harvesting the energy from that, investing it into the new energetic system, and then pulling the plug, de-anchoring from the old one. And once we're de-anchored, those storylines, oh, I got my truth pimples, I can't fake these, they can't really create anymore, because there's no energy source to feed them. And that's when you shift into a new bandwidth, which is sort of like this outer ring, perhaps, that Esther is talking about now. And so there's one question here. Super interesting. I wonder, hi, Monica. I wonder how, after being conscious of the limitations within the balloons coming from the charts, how do we liberate or work through them? Yeah, well, we're going to be sharing that with you as we go through this training. And I happen to have a boot camp on it as well, which I'll be telling you about too. But that's all to come. So Esther, yes, please continue. I just wanted people to understand what de-anchoring is, because it can sound like things like unhooking or like a lot of things that actually don't, that are out there in spiritual language, but actually don't sum up the potency of the de-anchoring tool. Okay, back to you, Esther.
Yes, and the cool thing, Monica, hello, is that we're actually like going to experience some of this today, and see how it works, like in our own existence, because everyone who's in here is actually in our matrix. So any changes that we make here, it's going to have a ripple effect on all of us. And so and I don't know, Georgia, do you want to just go to the reading of Louisa so we
Oh,
can?
you want? Yes, that's right. So Esther made a great point, because when we do energy work or anything that is this potent, and I can feel the circles energies coming in right now for this, when we remove mainframe, so let's talk about what's a mainframe of our existence, like the illusion of time and space as we understand it. So as we're dissolving major frameworks that have defined our reality, we're still partly in our 3D ecosystem. So we're still generating, quite a lot of our reality from that state. But we're removing simultaneously major frameworks. And what this does is it makes a lot more energy come into the system, and it's moving much, much faster, much, much faster. So what can happen if we're still in our minds a lot is that faster moving and more unimpeded energy can project through the mind even stronger. And that's why we can see this kind of chaos on the planet right now, with the rise of polarity and separation, struggle, and because the illusion, until people move out of the mind matrix and move out of what is generating the mind matrix, there's an amplification, so people can even see what illusions are still remaining, and that's how you can also work with it as well. So in our work, another huge piece of our work is to do the heart centering work, and to make sure that even when you embark upon something as significant as dissolving an existence template, you first surrender to the heart, and you allow the heart to guide this process, because inside the heart is that there's something that we call the heart blueprint, which is basically the graceful map for this unfolding, right? And I have clients that come all the time who are having rapid awakenings, but they're still seated in their minds a lot. You could be energetically opening up and still be in your mind. And that means that the mind illusion can be, you're rapidly awakening multidimensionally, but that can rapidly be projecting into the multidimensional reality, your sense of God, all of this stuff. It can get pretty chaotic. So we always do the heart centering as a way to surrender to the heart, and that the heart really guides what we're ready for right now to do. So before we get into the reading and the more energetic part of this gathering here, let's all just come down into the heart center. And basically, heart centering is, and again, I have the full exercise in my gift bag, Circle Evolution gift bag. You can get it for free if you're on it now. I'm always giving away pay what you can ones, because it has all these very important tools in it right now that we're really using, and I want to make them accessible to people, and they're coming in so quickly. It's the fastest way, one of the fastest ways I can share these tools. So there's the full exercise, why we do it, how it works, etc., in the gift bag. But right now, just bring your focus down into the heart center. And really, that's just putting your awareness in the middle of your chest, where the heart is. And just doing this means you're now plugged into the heart projector, the heart matrix, the heart blueprint. And the mechanism that is already creating the reality that knows that you're already worthy and deserving of infinite love, infinite abundance, infinite joy, that you're infinitely connected to and supplied by Source. And it bypasses the suffering and the struggle of the mind matrix. The other thing that's really powerful about the heart is, yes, when we're working in collaboration with the heart, there's still work, quote unquote, for us to do in terms of this purification, this dissolving, this DeAnchoring, all of this stuff. But the heart will guide us to what is necessary for us to do, not a whole bunch of extra spiritual development work that is actually just the mind distracting us from the heart and keeping us in an eternal struggle to find the truth and whatever it is, but just the work that is necessary for us to come fully into the heart and to be seated in the heart center and generating the reality that our heart blueprints are always creating for us to receive. So as you focus in the heart, you can just put forward this question. And when we give the heart a question, really what we're doing is we're giving it permission to reveal to us. It's our most powerful free will choice to invite the heart to reveal and to give the heart permission to step in here. So when we ask these questions, we don't need to get answers immediately. So don't even jump up into your mind to look for the answer the heart's giving us, like, it must be this. Just the question is enough, which is, heart, through this program, show me, what do I need to be most aware of right now? And with that intention for this group, for everybody who is watching it now and for whoever shall come to this material when the time is right for them, we're creating this gateway and this crucible for the dissolving of the existence templates that are most on point to be released right now. And we are supported by the Circle of Light here and all the energy work that we're doing today and through this process. So now Esther has done, we have a special guest who's also joining us today, all the way from South Africa. And she won the drawing to receive this Esther's beautiful astrological reading of her existence templates. And to be part of this clearing. But as I said in my emails, everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth when we clear the existence templates, because we are all part of each other's existence. And we are all archetypes for either conscious or unconscious energy that we're working with and clearing. So even though we're working individually with the Louisa today, we are working with everybody through this process, and her templates will resonate on some level with everybody who watches this. So just feel that union of this process, even as we're using this one example. So do you want to say hi, Louisa? Oh, we got you on. There we go.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Georgia. Hi,
Hi, Louisa.
It's a great privilege and a fantastic gift. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. And then I am sure that everybody will find resonance, will resonate with what is happening today, because there's a lot of existence templates that's cutting across everybody. Yes. So I'm sure everybody will benefit from this. Thank you again.
Yeah. And I want to say Louisa has actually done quite a few of our workshops and boot camps, and even the reason why I think you've manifested this is the work that you have been doing with the material of the Circle of Light along the way, would also prime you to be being ready to do this major existence template work, as well as everybody else who's watching. By the way, I just want to say, if you're watching this isn't going to be necessarily the workshop for the first stage spiritual, like, oh wow, I've just, I found a tarot card. This is quite advanced work. So but yeah, I'm going to my comedian mouth and get it over to Esther and Louisa.
Okay, so let's go. I will share the screen to see Lisa's chart. And then the first thing, I'll put it on the tropical. That would be her little me, her character that she's playing in this lifetime. And so, like, as she said, like, the resonance for me was like almost immediate when I saw her birthday, because like, it was 1959, and this is exactly 1 week after my grandmother died in childbirth.
Oh, wow.
When my aunt was born. So it connected me to my grandmother. And actually, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here.
So I'm sorry, this is a week before your grandmother died in childbirth, giving birth to your mother.
My aunt.
Your aunt. Okay, wow.
Other sister, yes. And so this is already like resonating, and then also when I saw the chart, it has a lot of things in common with Georgia, because
yes, it does. Yeah.
So, like, no coincidences here. So it's not random. I see that we are all connected. And what I love about astrology is that I get to see how people is connected, how everything is connected, because the zodiac wheel would represent all the energy.
Yeah.
And depending on where we have most of our planets and so on, it's where we will play our circumstances.
Yeah.
So the first thing is that, I don't know, Louisa, if you knew that you were born on a Wednesday.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Wednesday is the day of Mercury. So because of that, Mercury will be one of your rulers. And the first thing that Mercury points to is the little sibling or the inner kid as well. So the thing with Mercury is that it's the planet that rules Gemini and also Virgo. And the other sign that it has in front is Sagittarius, that would represent the bigger ones of the system, the ones that are like the big brother and so on. And so Mercury, it's fascinated by the big one, and it's just following their guidance. And so you are born looking for a little brother, a little sister to be able to guide. Because it's like, because of what I said before, all planets are going to be reflecting the light of the sun. And in this case, your light will be looking for this Mercury in your system. And what happens is that these figures that we give so much importance to are the first ones that have to disappoint us. Either because you don't have little siblings, or because they are very different than what you expected. It's like they come with an inverted image of what you are projecting. Because when we like wave the right hand on the mirror, we don't see the right hand. We see coming back the left hand. And so,
can I interrupt? Is she's looking for the person to follow?
Yeah, so she's
yes.
kind of looking for like little kids to guide, right?
Right.
But either they are not there, or they are there in a very different way that she expected. They are not following her guidance or something like that. And so this is the first disappointment. And because we don't understand the system unless there are these figures, you start embodying it yourself. you start being like Mercury, being the one that it's like Mercury is also like it's always learning, always like looking for guides or looking for information to learn from, or looking for like people to learn from. And so Mercury, you actually have it at 12 degrees of Leo in conjunction with the Sun, exact conjunction, in the 4th house. So it's very interesting because Leo is also connected with the little kid and with the like the idea of this is that Leo in the decan of Taurus, which is the 12th degree, is that you do that to accumulate something that gives you security. And so the way you do that is through it's like this person that plays like a little bit like the silly one, even though it's not silly at all. So the others kind of guide you, take care of you, or help you. But also we'll see like later on why is that, because this is like the what you do, like 1 to 5%. It's what you are like, the character that you play. But later we'll see why you play it, why this character and not any other. And then on the third chart we'll see for what's the purpose of it. And so it's like you're giving this importance to everything that the kids and the little ones represent. And so the next thing is that this is in conjunction with the Sun, which is like the main character. All the other characters will be reflecting its light, and it's in the 4th house. So despite it's in a fire sign, it's in Leo, and Leo it's ruled by the Sun itself, which is the star that is in the center, and all the other ones are just like orbiting around it. It's like without the Sun coming out, we wouldn't have life, we wouldn't have existence. So you start like representing this like bright little kid that knows like has this, that is hungry to learn from others, and that is like becoming what join us, like becoming the one in the center that keeps them together somehow, that keeps them orbiting. And so the other ruler that you have is Venus, and you have the ascendant at 4 degrees of Taurus, which is Taurus in the decan of Cancer. And so we have the Sun and Mercury in the 4th house, which is the house of Cancer, which is the house of rooting of the mother, of the family, of the past as well. And also the ascendant is in Taurus in the decan of Cancer as well. So it's also like someone that gives a lot of importance to the togetherness, to be together in things and to stand together. And it's ruled by Venus, which is actually in Virgo as well, another earth sign. You have Venus at 15 degrees of Virgo, which is Virgo in the decan of Leo again. And so, and in the 5th house, which is the house of Leo, and also the house of children, the house of parenting, the house of creation, of creativity, of. So you can have like, you can be someone who has like a lot of ideas, and because of Venus, like a lot of beautiful ideas to share with others and so on. But always with this like focus on bringing the tribe together, like for everyone to bond, for everyone to be together. And because usually like we think of Leo as the one in the center, like the main, but also Leo has this generosity, this creativity that has the need to share with others. And so despite there is kind of this need to call the attention of others, it's actually for them to create this tribe, because you have most of your planets in the second in the second like quadrant of the chart, which is all about you, but in the intimacy, like in the family, in the people that you have closest to you. So it's very important, like this area of your life, the area of family, and the area of the people that you have around you. And so there is always like this amount of energy in here, this creativity, that it's brought to the people that you have closest to you, for them to be able to share it with you. So we have as your first rulers Mercury, because you are born on a Wednesday, then Venus, because you have the ascendant in Taurus, and then you have the Sun in the fourth house. So there is a lot of the mother themes as well, a lot of the water themes. So everything that has to do with, and you can see Venus and the fourth house. These are very, and also this quadrant, these are very feminine themes. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I think we are all women in this room. So there is a lot of feminine energy here, a lot of energy focus on creating this connection with others, this tribe that is connected. And so the next one would be the moon, because also it's the ruler of the natural ruler of the fourth house, and you have it in the fourth house. And it's very interesting because you have the moon at 28 degrees of Leo. This is, I think, almost exact conjunction with the star Regulus. And this is one of the 4 royal stars in the sky. There's only 4. And it's called the Watcher of the North. And this one, it's the leader of the heart. And it's interesting that we just did the heart centering, and you have this strong connection with being someone who leads with the heart. And it's quite interesting how these themes come together, because there is like this, sometimes like with the feminine and everything that it represents, of not like this history of not being taken seriously or that seriously. Like what I said in the beginning, like this idea of despite, and this is the 5th house, despite being the one that creates life, and this creativity that you have, that brings like this brightness to the family, that brings that joy to the family as well. Like this sense of giving a lot of attention to others, but kind of giving your power away to them. Like giving them all your attention, because the moon is what we give to others, expecting others to reciprocate, right? But each moon is giving their own thing, so it doesn't necessarily match. So it's like the way that you express, like the way that you nurture others is through giving them attention, paying them attention, and also through communication, because this is Leo in the decan of Gemini. So it's through either talking things or through learning as well together, things like that. But far from others to kind of join you in this, you can find that it's not exactly like the image that comes back. You project this, you give so much attention, but it feels like it doesn't come back somehow. Like you give a lot, but it feels like it's kind of not reciprocated or not exactly at the level that you're giving. And so the next thing...
Who can relate to that? Anyone else out there relate to that?
And I think this is a theme that often is connected to women, and either if you're a mother or not, like this sense of nurturing others and not always being appreciated or not. Yeah. And then, but actually you have the moon super close to Pluto, and this is like a huge amount of power. Like you have a lot of power, but often because it's so like it goes so much into others and into giving them attention that it kind of it leaks somehow. It's like it's not, you don't, it's difficult to see or the others don't see it, but it doesn't mean it's not there, because you have like the Pluto is like the almighty one, the omnipotency or something like that, right? So you have a very powerful moon aligned to Regulus, and I don't think, like, you probably have a soul with a lot of power of creation in this world. But it's this, like, it's very focused on this, like on the family and on like the ones that you have closest to you. And then the next thing is Mars, which is actually very close to Venus. It would represent the same archetype as Venus. And they are both in Virgo, in the decan of Leo, in the 5th house, the house of Leo. So it's like Mars and Venus are representing this archetype of Virgo. Is the one that follows Leo, and it's all about service. And it's all about like putting this creativity in being of service to others, in like, and becoming essential to them, like being needed. And that's another thing, another theme that it becomes important, that you associate a lot being needed with being loved. And that's like sometimes something that can create distortions of being needed with being loved, of becoming essential to others. And that it's what like creates the drive for you. And so we've seen a little bit of what you do, but let's see why. And so would be the matrix. and in
But
this
actually,
case,
before you jump into that, how is any of this resonating for you?
yeah, it's
Louisa?
Lisa.
Definitely. I'm a nurturer and I'm a person in service. And it is also true that I don't keep anything for myself. I give everything away.
Okay.
And it is absolutely spot on. Spot on.
Cool. Just wanted to check in. All right, let's get to the next.
Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, in this case, the point that recorded all the memory is the Earth, and the Earth is the exact opposite point of the Sun. And in this case, it goes into 26 degrees of Sagittarius in the 11th house. And so, despite you are now playing more with these themes of the kid, or the one that is learning from others, and the one that has like the big ones, the ones that take the decisions and everything outside, you have the memory of being the big one of the system, actually. And in the 11th house, which is the house of Aquarius, and it's a house also of kind of distance, of seeing somebody like kind of far away. And then the ascendant in this case, it goes into Scorpio in the decan of Capricorn, which is the decan of the responsible father. So it's interesting how there is so much feminine energy in your tropical chart, and in here, like the memory that you have, it was more of being the big one of the system, the teacher, the guide, the one that has all the information to be able to guide others. And that's also why now you are born with the idea that you have to guide others. So you are looking for students somehow to be able to nurture. But you end up finding that this role is already taken. Like there's already like someone else who is playing that role. And that's why you end up in the playing what you used to have, what your memory used to have outside, which are the more like the little kids and the ones that are being nurtured. And so it's like in this case, because this is already taken, you start playing this role, and it has a lot of energy. So it's all about, and this is Gemini in the decan of Sagittarius, and this is actually aligned with Mintaka. And it has a lot to do, this is the Orion system, and this has a lot to do with being like with Peter Pan, and being a kid with that is very idealist, and even has some kind of naivety, like because it lives in this world that is like Neverland. And it has this imagination that is like so big, and this capacity to create even your own words, like this capacity of creation again. And it's in the 5th house, so it's also like this house of creation, of creativity, of childbirth, of everything that has to do with creating something that wasn't there before. And you have actually the sun in conjunction with Uranus. And I see that this is also like a thing that it's often like around Georgia as well, because when you have personal planets so close to transpersonal ones, which are the ones that are farther away from the sun, it usually talks about collective themes. So it's not just something that you live, but something that is in the collective. And this axis has a lot to do with this. Who is the big one? Who's the small one? Who plays the big one? Who plays the small one? And who has the power of decision, and who has to follow like these decisions.
So does that set things up for a power struggles, or then just sort of Peter Panning off, escapism when you don't get your leadership role? Is that how you would interpret that? Or
yes, because and this can also like play a lot, because this again, this still in the second quadrant, so it can play a lot in the family, but it is actually like a microcosmos of things that can be played in the planet as well, like this imbalance between who is in the teacher role and who is in the student role. But actually you have Gemini in the decan of Sagittarius and Sagittarius in the decan of Gemini. Actually, like then you can see themes of both in both, like because the teacher is learning from the student and the student is learning from the teacher. It's like this pull where it's like the question of who is taking the leadership, and in this case you tend in this life you tend to like leave it to someone else, but it doesn't mean you don't have the capacity to lead, and to lead from the heart actually. And so this also can be connected with themes of the masculine and the feminine as well, how this tendency for the women to follow, or the feminine to follow the masculine. And so this gives a lot of power as well to the decision makers, to what the masculine represents as well, and the tendency to like feel small in front of that, something like that. And so in the end, I'll summary also like the themes, but now I'm just kind of painting the picture. And so the next thing here is the moon, and the moon is at 11 degrees of Cancer, and in the 4th house, which was also the house of Cancer. And now we kind of understand the drive of your little me, or your ego, of bringing the people together, because this is Cancer, the decan of Aquarius, and it's all about not understanding life unless we are together in this, unless it's with bonding, and bonding very close with the family and with the ones you have around you. And so what happens here, like what can generate suffering here, is that the more you try to bond, the more you find 11th house that they want freedom, or that they want their space, or that they kind of don't enter the game, and don't want to participate in the tribe, right? that they kind of escape or leave. And there can also be, this can also generate like feelings of neglect or feelings of like I'm giving so much, because you can see this is a lot of energy here, like creating and doing things for the others, and the others are just like doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They don't kind of participate.
Right. I just asked Louisa if she resonated with that. She said very much. Yeah. I can see that would really hurt.
Yeah, and this is also the thing, like each one of us has their own paranoia, right? Like their own like unconscious, and the unconscious, it's all focused on survival, right? And on finding the things that you need to survive. And this is like the programming is like, unless I have this, the tribe bonded together, I won't survive. Because that's why your little me pays a lot of attention and makes a lot of effort to nurture others, to bring everyone together, and so on. But them, and actually this is not for you to suffer, they are showing the inverted image. And this is actually for you to take back your power, because they are not abandoning you for you to suffer. They are doing so that in a reflection, so that you can take back your power. So you can take care of yourself first, and then bond. So this is not what you do, is where you do it from. So the question here is, where you bond from? Do you bond from like this need for survival, for like for the tribe to survive, or do you do it from a place that is more genuine, right? And so let's see the third chart.
Can I just interrupt here 1 second here, because I think what you're painting a picture here that I can resonate or maybe explain in some way also is this idea of the what I call the good ego, that it's still little me's mind. So you're doing all the right things, you're being loving, you're being giving, you're being all this, but it's still coming from mind. It's the good ego. And sometimes that stuff is really hard to catch, because it feels good, it feels right, and it feels like the right thing to do, but you're getting like smacked around because it's still coming from the good ego and not from the broader consciousness. Does that make sense? And it can take a while to realize that it's obvious when the bad ego is being naughty and trapping you and hurting you, but when the good ego is bringing you pain, that can take a lot more mastery to be able to witness that and cut to that chase. That behavior that feels right is actually keeping you from your power.
Exactly. And so we can see in the third chart that this would represent your higher self, or the essence that you suppress to be able to play that character in that matrix. And so in this case, instead of ascendant Taurus, you would have ascendant in Aries, and this is ruled by Mars instead of Venus. And so this is all about the masculine, but not the outer masculine, because there's only you here. This is not anymore about playing circumstances with others, but your essence, right? And so the ascendant here in Aries, it's like calling you to independence, to your process of individualization, to have your own space, right? And so because it's also, the moon goes into Leo and in the 5th house, and the moon in the 5th degree of Leo in the decan of Aries is a lot of fire. It's like what you can find when you don't integrate this, it's a lot of selfishness outside. You see others as very selfish because of this like program of I give, but it feels like I'm not receiving as much as I'm giving. But actually, when you receive this image inverted of selfishness in others, It's actually for you to take back your own selfishness, your capacity to be selfish and to take care of yourself first. And this is asking, like what I said, where are you giving from? Are you giving from the survival program of bonding the tribe, or are you giving from a place where there is plenty, because you are filling yourself up so much with self-recognition, with self-love, with self-honoring, that you give from a place of being full, with your creativity, of expressing yourself from another place that is more healthy, right? That is not based on who needs who, but it's based on I'm giving from because I have plenty, because I'm giving from extra, not taking myself. This is like when you're on the plane with the oxygen mask, what they said, like put the oxygen mask on yourself first. It's a lot about that. Like your life purpose is a lot about that. Your capacity to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then help the kids or help whoever needs you, right? And so in this case, the sun goes into 19 degrees of Cancer in the 4th house, which is also the house of Cancer. And so your life purpose, it's all about the mother energy. But in this case, not mothering others, mothering yourself, feeling yourself, rooting for yourself. There is this expression in English that I'm rooting for you. And it always like makes me think like why we say these things, because in terms of survival, there is a lot of this like rooting for others, and also like with the masculine and the feminine, it's like, okay, the masculine is supposed to kind of, in the memory, it's supposed to root for the feminine, right? But in this case, is I'm rooting for me first, and then I share with others from that place. And so the tool that you have to access that sun, it's the earth again. That would be in Capricorn in the 10th house. So that's the thing, like it can generate a lot of guilt to put yourself first, to be selfish. Because there can also be judgment of who am I, if I'm being selfish and so on. But when you actually like set boundaries and then take your own space of individuation, which is also like the 5th house, you first reaffirm yourself and what your needs are, and you make sure your needs are covered, and then say no when it's not the moment, or when you need that space for yourself, and then nurture yourself first. And when you are nurtured, then you have plenty to give from that space.
And who relates to that as well as Louisa, the struggle with that? I'm sure that's a universal theme for I think a lot of empaths struggle with that. A lot of people who would be drawn to being part of that planetary healing. A lot of circle evolutionists, I think, would hold those some of those themes of finding that balance. I find it, obviously as well. It's something to always be seeking balance on. Louisa, thoughts so far?
Spot on. Especially the last part. It's extremely difficult for me to first think of myself and to nurture myself. I always feel guilty. It's always as if there's always somebody else that needs support or needs to be looking after. And spot on.
Spot on. Awesome. Isn't this wonderful just to see? Thank you for giving your validations. Just so it really helps for people to see the accuracy of the tool. Like, you've never spoken to Esther before. You don't know her at all. She doesn't know you at all. This is an entirely cold read, in essence, and the fact that it's so spot on is pretty awesome.
and it's a shock.
It's a shock that it's that spot on.
It's a huge shock because you build a wall. I've got a terrible wall around me, and to hear it and just to acknowledge that it's actually the truth.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, and it's a big shock. It's yeah.
Thank you.
But it's
Thanks.
the truth.
Yeah, thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that. And also want to say, I think hearing things like this or feeling like you're having your truth exposed, like we're all here like, yep, that's me. So thank you for being the archetype for us today. Okay, yeah, Esther, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and just to summarize a little bit the existence templates here, I put like the sun, the moon, and the earth. That would represent like to me when Georgia says existence is, for example, I associate that with the moon because it's the astral body that we have closest, and it influences all our emotions, and it's like the filter that we see everything through. And so I associate the themes of the moon with this existence is template. And so in this case, like the moon goes from Leo in the 4th to Cancer in the 5th. And then actually the purpose is, but also where there is the most resistance is the moon in Leo in the 5th, which is this taking this individuation space, this self-recognition first. And so the sun is in the 4th in Leo. It goes in Gemini in the 6th, which is all about serving others, serving the kids, especially of the family or the little ones. And then it goes into Cancer in the 4th, which is about the difficulty to nurture yourself first. And actually, like, your life purpose is to share that, to share your capacity to nurture, which is amazing. You have an amazing power to share. But it's where you share it from, right? From a place of need, or from a place of feeling yourself first, which is the resistance. The resistance is there. And so, and then you have the earth, which would be like, and the sun is like the projection that we have in source, right? In God, because it represents like this archetype of what's giving life, what's making this system orbit, right? And so this would represent this existence templates of God is, of your associations with it. And then being in a body would represent earth and what associations you have with being on earth. And so in this case, it goes from Aquarius in the 10th to Sagittarius in the 11th, which is what I said more about this being these figures like in a pedestal, kind of distant, and then actually taking your capacity to grow by setting boundaries, by the capacity to say no and to take this space for yourself first. So this would be like a little bit of the summary of this existence templates. I don't know if you want, I have it in my notes, if you want them to share them with you, Georgia, or how do we do it?
So the way I heard those existences, as you sort of painted the picture, I feel like what I witnessed, and Louisa, you can tell me if this is resonating or if something else. I would sort of say that then existence is like self-sacrifice, maybe martyrdom, or like, because you're giving everything away basically. Existence is sacrifice, self-sacrifice. Did you have particular adjectives? Because when we do the existence templates, we kind of summarize them to 1 or 2 or 3 simple words that sum up that state. So that was sort of what I got for the first one. Is existence is self-sacrifice, self-depletion. What resonates with you on that? Or did you have
It-
specific words?
It's definitely sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I must be honest. I try to get rid of it,
Yeah.
and I think that's why I also resonate to the clearing the primitive mind and all that stuff. But it never really works because I think I'm barking up the wrong tree. I'm trying to fix the wrong thing.
You might not have hit this
Um,
plate before. So,
and then it's always
and the guilt.
and I'm very vulnerable, but it is just as it is. If I've got something, I give it away. And I
Right.
don't know if it might be with past lives, things that one carry with you. But it's definitely something about, I don't want to call it sacrifice. Sacrifice is, well, it's the truth.
That's the
But
truth. I mean, I think sacrifice is definitely there.
it's
There's a way that we can, what we do is help you witness that as well, to find a theme, which would be if you actually, and this is what I teach in the boot camp, but if you actually, instead of trying to analyze it with your mind, which I can see now, Louisa, your mind is searching to get those words, that the way to see the existence templates is often easier with the witness. So if you were to watch this character of you, Louisa, giving everything away and never getting anything back, or not getting enough back, just always feeling like you have to give it away. Just watch your character doing that for you, for whoever it is that you're doing it for, like a play.
it's just what I do.
It's
so
what you do, but
ingrained.
you're still observing that from yourself. So step outside a little bit more. Watch that character giving everything away.
Deserving, maybe.
Huh?
Deserving.
Is that
Maybe a feeling
is
of
the character deserving or undeserving?
undeserving.
Yeah, undeservedness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be your and Esther, do you resonate with those themes as you read them for her, or perhaps something else on that first template? And I think just for the sake of time, we might just do the first level here.
So I'm going to share the sentence that I had in my notes.
Yes, sure.
That resonates, or we can change something. What I had is existence is rooting for the family, being needed, giving them my power, and starved of attention and recognition through resistance to reaffirm myself and grow by setting boundaries and nurturing me first.
Okay, so yeah, so some of the other words then is starved, and that kind of makes, so I look always when I'm working with a client to find the strongest themes, then I would look for those power words, which is like existence is being sacrifice, being starved, and undeserving, for example. Or if you could even type that, some of the words that really hit me as you said that full sentence, just for the sake of the clearing, we usually shorten it to those, to get those main themes. Can you say it again, the sentence you had, Esther? And perhaps Louisa, if something really hits you, you can share.
I just put it in the chat.
Oh, great. Yeah. Rooting for the family, being needed. Oh, giving away my power. So powerlessness is often an existence template of some type because you've given it all away.
Powerlessness also, definitely.
Yeah. So undeservedness. And I'm just going to choose these 3 or so for the purpose of this exercise. But when Esther gives somebody a description like that, you can really sit with that and piece out each of the strong themes in that. and how you might do it, and resistance to reaffirming myself. Yes, Esther?
Yes, I just want to say that any interpretation that I do also in anybody, it also has subjectivity, right? So it's very important to first to filter it and to see what resonates, or maybe to tweak a little bit the words so it really touches what it means for you. Because
and that's,
but it's important that it actually you take what resonates the most.
What resonates the most. So yeah, the words in there that really hit you, Louisa, with charge on that statement. When I'm working with clients, often because people have such a hard time because they have so much story built up around these things, they can have a really hard time seeing what it obviously is. So our role is to sometimes really witness that for somebody, which is why energetically, whether what I'm picking up on is for me or for you or for the group as well here, they're the words that would bring, that I feel the power of to maybe verbalize in the clearing. But if you or whoever's watching still feels those, something in there, being starved attention and recognition can also be, for somebody else that might feel like being just ignored, existence is being ignored, or there might be other ways those words come through to you that as Esther says, kind of hits for you. Resistance to reaffirming myself and growing, and resistance to growing by setting boundaries, or resistance to self-nurturing. There might be a word that hits that, self-neglect. When you sit down and actually do a clearing, there'll be ways that those words would hit for you. Does that make sense to everybody? Why I'm kind of getting the just for the purpose of the clearing, some things that really punch, but it's going to incorporate everything that's come through.
Yeah, maybe I can share like a little story that maybe can help. Because when I was preparing this, I was connecting with in mythology with this the goddess Tiamat. I don't know if you've heard about it. This idea of it's a Babylonic goddess that created the world, and it's an oceanic goddess as well. It's related to the water. And despite being the one who created the world, then all her power is taken away, and then she's destroyed, and she kind of poisons the water, something like that. It's like, it's mythology, it's
like a bitterness, isn't it, too?
But
resentment, bitterness,
resentment of this like mother archetype that gives it all, but then it's always taken away, and
yeah, and those emotions like that. So sometimes when we witness something like a play, and I'm not saying this is you, Louisa, at all, but how you may, when you actually step into the witness of yourself in that play, what you might miss is what you might see that you're missing when you're in that state, because it's part of your existence so much, is that yes, that there is a bitterness, for example, like existence is just a bitter experience, or futility, or there's some other emotional state that you can often see. So when Esther's using the story, those archetypes, that mythology, often we use things like mythology to see these dynamics that are within ourself that we're creating. We might resonate with that storyline. And in the boot camp that I've created, I've also written out how you might be able to identify these projections, your templates through projections like that, through the projection on an archetypal story, or well, actually I didn't even write that in, I'll have to put that in, but we instead of projecting on gods and goddesses, we often project on celebrities and politicians and galactic energies now, or something else. So there's multiple ways that you can find your existence templates, and that's what I've broken this down in and I'm just getting to the point where we want to do the clearing here, but before I start the clearing, to just help explain how people can access the tools and the information. Esther obviously does these amazing astrology readings and sessions with, why don't you talk a little, you can just share a little bit, and then I'll explain a little bit about the boot camp that I've just basically built for this, and anything that you're offering, and then we'll wrap up with the clearing. So yeah, Esther, how do you like to help people with your work?
Yeah, so well, I usually do this initial reading of these 3 charts, and it usually like keep it a little bit longer, like 90-minute reading to get really deep into each chart. And then there's also, I can also like work long term with people, and then we usually work with for the year, we usually work with the solar return, because every year on our birthday, it's like resetting new themes. And so every time the year doesn't start in the January 1st, for each person, it starts on your birthday. And so it's like the moment that the sun reaches the exact degree that it was when you were born, then it sets up a new chart that is actually connecting to your actual natal chart. And it's like you focus on those themes for the year. And then every month you can work with the moon, and see in which houses and which areas of your life you are focused on. And so this is how I work.
So yeah.
To kind of
you can keep using those astrological cycles to help identify those big existence templates. Actually, I just saw something, and I'm not sure if you've worked with it like this, but a lot of the times when people are really going through something, that's when the existence templates are really starting to reveal themselves, usually when the beep is really hitting the fan, in a way, again, where it feels like, oh my God, I've hit this wall again. I've tried to change this. I'm seeing it again. And you're really feeling crushed by the repetition of these themes coming up, even though you may have done a lot of work on it, and I thought that when in those moments when it's really revealing itself to you, because I know in astrology you also have the horary chart, where you actually do the chart at the moment where the question is asked, that might be another way that existence templates are revealed with what is going on right now at the moment that somebody might ask that question. Is that something you work with at all, Esther? Have you thought about it?
I'm not specialized in horary astrology, but it's a way that it can be used as well. Like you ask a question, and in the right moment when you ask a question, it's like the planets answer to you by looking at the chart of the moment you make the question. Like it's not.
Yeah. I thought that.
Yeah,
because people come to me when the stuff is going on right now, like this craziness has happened, so they book a session because the energy is inflamed in that moment and they want the clearing that moment right now for those answers. So it just dawned on me that would be very similar to kind of getting the diagnosis from the energies of that moment, just as we kind of do that and help witness.
In moment of eclipses and things like that, it just,
yeah, for sure, lots of amplification.
yeah. And if you see,
so
like,
where can everybody reach you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And if you can see the place in the chart where the eclipse is hitting for the person, you can see where the explosion
where the explosion is. Yeah. So it's a cool way. Some people are I've done so much of this kind of personal development and obviously working with clients a lot. It's very easy our job is to witness for other people, so they're not letting us be distracted by their own storylines about what they think it is, because remember, when your mind is looking for its own fix, it often can't find it because the problem's created by the mind. So trying to fix it from the mind that's created it can be really challenging, which is why it's helpful to sometimes have an outside person to witness you, to get you through that threshold, so you don't keep working at the same thing over and over again, because you're looking in your mind for the problem itself, or you're looking from the place that's creating the problem. Does that make sense? That's why we start with the heart centering. So you're coming out of your mind to witness yourself. But so you coming and having a session with me in the circle, or having someone like Esther draw up a chart and help you find it and identify it, is, thank you everybody who's joined in. And I will be sending out the video of this. Actually, it'll be on YouTube, so if you want to come back for the clearing that we do, because you'll receive the clearing. I'm going to do it right now. But the boot camp that I've designed is also designed to guide you through the process. So essentially, we're guiding you through that process to identify you're held in an energetic space that will help you witness yourself, to find those themes, to understand what it is that you're looking for a little bit better, and to use the different ways that you might be projecting it to get faster, to get better at witnessing yourself, to get better at witnessing your own mind, stepping outside of your own mind and observing and getting to these templates faster. And then the boot camp takes you through the witnessing, identification, and now what I'm going to do with you now, the integration, the purification, and the DeAnchoring. So you're really clearing these templates out. And in this one, I'm just going to do the primary existence template that we've kind of come up with here. And in the boot camp, we also take you more deeply how to take the primary existence template as you've identified it, and then discover what the God is existence template is, the projection on source or anything that has power over you, and also the projection of what existence is inside a body. But just for the purpose of this, for time now, I'm just going to do the clearing on the primary existence template that Esther's brought forward, using Louisa's chart, but that feels pretty resonant. So but the boot camp is available now. Esther's services are available now with awakening with the stars. We'll have all the links in the bio underneath this. I'm doing actually a 50% off discount for a short time only on the boot camp, as I'm kind of basically launching this, and you're going to get the full mentorship boot camp, which is built, and I'm going to add some extra stuff in there as well. But for now, you'll get the first foundational pieces, and there'll be more stuff added to it, and it's going to be 50% off with the code that I'm putting in the written stuff here. Esther, is there anything else that you'd like to add with your offerings? Just say again how to find you. Give yourself a plug here with this beautiful work. Obviously, a 90-minute session, a full session with Esther is going to open up a lot more clarity and a lot more depth.
Yeah, I feel that I love it because it works so well together. Like it helped me so much when I found you, Georgia, because I was able to start de-anchoring all these themes that it was so easy for me to read them, but sometimes to fully unplug them, it was like this struggle with it, especially when our collective themes that feel like they go beyond you. And then yeah, you can find me in awakeningwiththestars.com, and I love to do that, right? To identify these themes for you and to make it really easy for you to be able to go to your power source and to access your starlight and
Yes.
who you're meant to be.
Yes. And with the combination of whether you came and did a one-on-one session with us, or if you got your reading with Esther, you could then take whatever you have found as your existence templates and also take that into the boot camp that I've created and do the full clearing on all levels, with be guided through by the boot camp, because it can, again, because there's so much energy in these these templates, and the mind's always trying to kind of pull you out, as Esther said, and distract you. Being guided through the steps sometimes can really keep you on point with the clearings, so you get to the other side of the clearing and your mind doesn't go, well, no, wait, we can't change my existence this much. Quick, distract her with like, oh, I better scroll on Instagram right now, because that's way more important than clearing these existence templates. Like the mind's always trying to distract us away from the thing that is really going to change it the most. So, all right, well, let's jump into our clearing now.
One thing, Georgia, that actually when you were talking about this, the horary astrology, I just thought that we're very close to the full moon that we'll have on Monday. And so I was looking at the chart of Louisa, and I saw like she was talking about deserving and so on, and it's gonna hit her second house, and which is all about what I deserve, what I want.
Oh, how interesting.
And in the unconscious, she had Gemini. It's where she has the sun, so it's all this energy that, despite on the surface, it's about how can I get what I want, what do I deserve, can I get what I deserve, and so on. These questions in the unconscious, it goes into Gemini in the 5th house, which is more about this feeling of powerlessness in front of something bigger than you.
Yes. And that's what I have written down. I've got existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. Louisa, does that hit for you?
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do that, because 3 major themes also is often like enough for one existence template purification. Again, the boot camp I've designed is that you can use it over and over as these things reveal. And you don't necessarily want to dissolve everything in one go, because so much of our structure is built by these templates, that if you just dissolve everything, suddenly you're just you can be a little bit too set adrift from your reality. So we're always trying to do it with the heart, just the right amount, so we can keep moving through our existence with some congruence, even as we're changing it and transforming it and getting it to, a new place. So we'll go with that. Existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. I think they're themes that many people will resonate with. There is always a real universality about these themes. So this is the integration and purification, and if we have time, the DeAnchoring and the timeline dissolve. So just coming into your hearts now, everybody, because there's a lot of power in the existence templates, there's a lot of energy in these existence templates. We want to activate that Infinity 8 running from the heart center, going up around through the thymus. That tool always helps us purify more energy. particularly when there's collective energy, ancestral energy, planetary template energy, all these other big frameworks that form the big matrix. The Infinity Eight helps to purify that. And even though these are Louisa's templates, they're for everybody to do. So the first step is that reclamation of energy that you've invested in your matrix that comes from these templates. You want to start calling back any of your energy that's invested in your projectional reality that's generated by these existence templates, everything from your past, all the ways it's currently manifest, and all the ways this energy is projected out into your future potentialities. Call that energy back, bring it into your heart, start to run it through the Infinity Eight. All the ways it's projected into all of those levels of your consciousness, your relationship to your body, your inner thoughts, states of being, your external projected direct quantum reality, and then those broader levels of the quantum projection, the indirect, what you see on the news, media, social media, history books, reports about the projection of the human collective. They're all aspects of the broader quantum reality. You're pulling all of that energy into the heart. And any of your projections out into the broader, multidimensional, even your projections on God, we can also pull all this in right now. And here's the integration. Just say to yourself now, and you'll just have to trust me on this while we're doing it. The reasons why we do these particular sentences, I paint that out in another boot camp, but these come from doing the work for a long time. So say to yourself, I love and accept the part of me that believes existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. And if through watching this you've become aware of some of your own, you're welcome to add those on, of course, as well. I love and accept the part of me that feels existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. I love and accept the part of me that creates existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. I love and accept the part of me that experiences existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. I love and accept the part of me that resists the feeling existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. I love and accept the part of me that resists the experience. Existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. I love and accept the part of me that uses the feeling. Existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness to resist. I love and accept the part of me that uses the experience. Existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness to resist. And just keep running the infinity 8. And you don't have to repeat this part. We're going to do the purification as we're dissolving away all the personal, genetic, hereditary, family, communal, planetary, and universal templates. All the imprinting, patterning, and programming on this energy held personally and collectively in the conscious, unconscious, and primitive mind centers throughout the body, all biological levels, the neural pathways, neural bundles, neural nets, throughout the nervous system, polyvagal, endocannabinoid, musculoskeletal, cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, renal, immune, lymphatic, glymphatic, sexual reproductive, endocrine, exocrine, and fascia systems. Throughout all aspects connected to physical sense and perception, all aspects connected to all sense and perception, you can just imagine now millions and billions of tiny little infinity 8s really scrubbing out these templates, scrubbing it out at what we call the tiny particulate level, scrubbing it out of your own body, scrubbing it out of anywhere where these projections are occurring, scrubbing it out at the cellular, genetic, DNA, RNA, molecular, atomic, subatomic levels and beyond. Throughout the grids that create creation, throughout this lifetime experience, throughout all lifetime experiences, past, present, future, parallel, concurrent lives, throughout all lifetime experiences shared with those you've explored, the themes and storylines that existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. Throughout all lifetime experiences where you've explored the themes, existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. And anything and everything connected to this. Any other thoughts? Oh, sorry, went off track then. Anyone and everyone connected to this. Throughout your quantum reality, shared with those who've explored the themes of existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. Throughout your quantum reality where you're exploring the themes, existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. And anyone and everyone connected to this. And anything and everything connected to all of this. Throughout all space-time dimensions and beyond, and throughout your all consciousness. And I'm going to do a shortened version of the DeAnchoring now. There's a fuller version in the boot camp. But just so we keep on time here. And just come into your hearts now. Giving all the energy that you've purified already to your heart, to the heart blueprint to reorganize and realign. And now repeat this. I give my heart permission to de-anchor any mental, emotional, physical, energetic, biological anchors into the 3D grid framework, creating the feeling, experience, perception, projection, or actualization of existence is sacrifice, undeservedness, and powerlessness. And any of the other themes, storylines, and archetypes that have been shared here today. Anything and everything connected to this. Any other thoughts, feelings, emotions, situations and circumstances, physical conditions, relationship dynamics, themes, storylines, and archetypes. This is all creating and generating. Really focus in your heart now. It's important to understand the significance of surrender. You don't know how to do all this de-anchoring. When you focus in your heart, you're activating the master consciousness, creative intelligence behind the heart. That's what does the de-anchoring. So relax into it. Allow the heart to do its work. Every time you're focused in the heart, you're bypassing the limitation of the mind. You're letting the heart do its thing for you. Relax and trust the heart to do this for you. And finally, we're going to call back any of your essential energy that has been invested in any timelines that have been generated by these existence templates, any future potentialities, parallel realities. Just call back all your energy that's out there in the quantum field, invested in the realities generated by these existence templates. We're calling it back, uncreating, divesting energy from those timelines, and giving all of that energy to your heart now. To create the realities that exist for you beyond these old frameworks. And again, you want to surrender into the heart and just let the heart do its thing. Awesome. So that is the first level of the identification of the first level existence template as we would do it. I know when Esther did her report for me, she included the sort of the statements for each level, the existence template, which is the projections on God, why we do the projections on God, why we identify the existence templates. First of all, why we identify an existence template is because having existence templates generally can cut you off from receiving the full support of consciousness in this lifetime here on earth, in this identity now. It can create resistance to you even being here on earth, because they usually create such a degree of suffering and struggle. It just creates resistance to your existence in general. Why we clear the existence templates that are projections on God, on source. And again, in the boot camp, I also explain where they are generated from, is because when you have resistance to source itself through these projections, you're not receiving the full influx of the support of the all consciousness to really feed your life. And why we clear the existence templates that are about what, being in a body, which is basically creating resistance to your own body, and again to being able to ultimately embody your broader consciousness in your body, which really also affects your ability to physically manifest your inner body here on earth in this lifetime. If you have resistance to that, you can't physically manifest the body of your life, if that makes sense. And a lot of the times that will also keep you from being connected to your life path, your spiritual path, your purpose, the purpose of your embodiment. So the existence in a body templates can be really good for physical healing and for things about your body, but it's also about the physical life of your existence here on earth and what you're here to embody. So they're all really powerful levels of the existence template to discover, to purify, to de-anchor from. You can do it using Esther's astrology charts and her beautiful. You can do it with our work and with the boot camp that we've created. And you may find your own ways to identify the existence templates, but those purification tools that we have developed from working with clients and with the intelligence of the circle of light is a very powerful and efficient way to break down the mind matrix that's actually generating that. Each one of those love and acceptances breaks down the mind matrix that creates the maze through which we run our consciousness and then project this kind of subpar reality. So I can hear my mum coming home, which is really hilarious. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. She's about to come through the front door. So thank you so much, everybody, for being with us today, for joining us. Thank you. Almost finished, Mum. Thank you for joining us, Esther, and sharing your beautiful astrology gift. And for Louisa for participating and offering herself as the existence template archetype and avatar for us all today. Thank you for everybody who joined us from all around the world. So appreciative. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up here, Louisa, Esther, anybody else?
Yes, thank you so much, you all powerful women, for being here and holding this space. Take care.
Thank you very much, everybody. We will see you the next time. Circle Evolution, YouTube Lives, Awakening with the Stars. And please check out my university now. The boot camp is now in the university. I've been working really hard on my university. All of our trainings and programs are showing up in that portal on my website. Go to the main menu, Circle Evolution, the university. They're all there. And please share this. It's going to be now on YouTube. It's also going to, I'll be emailing out the link. If you have found value in this, please do share. Our work really gets validated when other people are willing to express how it's helped them. I can tell you, I can say this a million times that it's going to help you, but when you actually can share that it's helped you and help spread the word, it helps this work get out and expand. And every time we do a clearing like this, we are releasing resistance from the entire human collective, and that's how we keep moving forward into generating a more magnificent reality for ourselves and for everybody. Thanks very much.
So much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Lisa.
Louisa. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.